Last week, I sent out a newsletter and it was titled The Importance and Power of Prayer. And believe it or not, I actually received more responses to that single email than I had ever received in the past. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Connection Hub. My name is Vanessa, and I am here to connect you to your highest good, your highest self, and your highest source. I have an iPad here with me because I thought that I could read out a little bit of the email that I sent, figuring that we could start our video here. This past week, I was reminded that whenever I feel fearful, confused, or nervous about an outcome, it's because no matter how hard I pray, I'm still the one looking for the solution. I also understood that my fear doesn't come from a lack of prayer, but from not fully surrendering to whatever I'm praying on. Every time we pray, whether a formal prayer or even stating affirmations, we affirm to God that we are worthy of His blessings. If, on the other hand, we keep focusing on the problem that brought us to prayer in the first place, then we continue telling God that we have little faith that we've been heard. My final thoughts to this newsletter was the importance of prayer is affirming that I alone am not the one who does the work, and the power of prayer reminds me of all the mountains God has already moved in my life. And for this, I am grateful. Where did I start with prayer? By having conversations with myself in my own head. I remember being in my old apartment and I was just looking around, surfing off the peak of my career at the time. And I thought to myself, this cannot be all there is to life. That's how my prayer practice started, was me just being absolutely baffled, going, seriously, like, this is it? This is all there is to life? And here it is. What the heck am I going to do? I began opening myself up more and more and more to the reality around me. Then my prayer practice shifted into gratitude and affirmations and mantras. And I would write out the things that I was grateful for. And every time I stuck with an affirmation or stuck with a mantra and really put the energy of feeling and emotion to it, I would see amazing things unfold for me. I took like a really quick turn and thought to myself, I think I want to make prayer a little bit more formal. So before bed, I would take my meditation cushion and set it down on the floor. And like a child, I would get down on my knees, make the sign of the cross, and pray to God this way. I do understand and see the innocence to it. And I really appreciate it. And I feel like that was... I did not see this coming. Give me 2 seconds. A door opened for me, welcoming me back home to myself. Moving on. The next thing that ended up happening in my life is I was introduced to this idea that I am God, right? The I am that I am. And it took me a good amount of time to wrap my mind around that idea. I didn't receive this in an obnoxious way. I received this in a way of there being some truth to it. I am that I am, in the sense of I am God's creation. So of course I'm God. Then I started seeing like the things on my wall as a part of God. And this whole world just like unfolded, layers peeled back at every second. And it's like, wow. I am God, and that dresser is God, and the tree is God, and everything I was able to see was God. At first, I thought, I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me to take that title or for me to take that understanding, but I was open to it. I can actually notice there are so many little seeds that have been planted time and time again. The idea of something were ideas and possibilities planted within myself, within my subconscious, within my heart. From there, when I was ready, then more was revealed to me. I began to become a Reiki practitioner. I began to read cards psychically for a lot of clients. I began really opening myself to my intuitive reception and to just understanding the language and the communication of the universe. And this is where prayer became non-negotiable. What I would do is I would sit and pray before everything. Before reading cards for others, I would pray at the top of every Reiki session, at the end of every Reiki session, before my meals. Prayer just became an everyday occurrence anytime I would have the opportunity. About a year and a half ago is when I felt the pull and the draw to start praying with the rosary. So I would wake up and I would jump on the Hallow app. The Hallow app happened for me a few months after the rosary did as a very predominant way to practice my prayer. Just feeling that support and feeling that guidance of the rosary. And what happened with the rosary was really magnificent and completely unexpected. And I just noticed that it really deepened my meditative state. It also really brought me into such a wonderful healing trance state. And I could feel that practice cleansing my aura. With prayer, we cleanse our aura. We become more imbalanced with our energy, with ourselves. When I was drawn to the rosary, I thought, oh my gosh, where am I going to get a rosary from? And sure enough, my grandma was a very devoted Catholic, and she had a couple of rosaries that my mom was holding on to. I even thought to myself that it might be kind of cool to make my own rosaries, a Vanessa rosary. I don't know. It might happen. All the seeds that have been planted. I suppose at this point, prayer is a common practice of mine. I love that at any time of day and any chance I can get, I can just sit and have a conversation with God. I can just ask him a question. I feel like I have no other solid option other than to state what it is I'm curious about, or to send out my dream and desire back to God, receiving an inspired idea and thinking to myself, yes, I want that. God, let's make that happen. I'm at a place now where I have no other excuse other than to surrender myself and fully give myself to him in understanding that it's all done. It's all complete. And I have nothing else to worry about. The reason I pray is because I know I'm not doing this life by myself. I know that I am not the air that breathes my body or the inspiration that comes to my mind. I know I am not the words that I speak or the things that I say or the things that I hear. I know, there is this magnificent power that I know to be God working through me and hearing through me and experiencing life through me and inspiring me and encouraging me to really make a life that I am excited about and I am driven to play with and to have fun in. So the reason I pray is because it makes me feel so incredibly loved. I just can't do this alone. That's the unfolding of my prayer, where it started, which some might even consider that not being prayer at all, to where it's landed, which is, just complete surrender. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until next time, get lost in joy, and remember, you are always connected.